everybody watching at home. Today we have one of our first Growth Through Adversity talks, and we have a very interesting speaker for today. It is Adrie Cornelis van de Meer, or as we should probably say, Adrie Cornelis van de Meer. He is very active in the UK and also online, and we are here to listen to some of his wisdoms of the day. Adrie, can you introduce yourself to the wide public?
Hello, and thanks for having me. So my name is Adrie, and I am 31 years old. I was diagnosed on the autistic spectrum when I was 27, after I had many years in my 20s of struggling with education, with my university, struggling to start a career, and then later on struggling to find and also stay in jobs as well, which led to my break, which led to a bit of a breakdown when I was in my mid-20s, about 26 years old, and which led to my diagnosis when I was 27. And since then, I have been a member of many autistic advocacy groups and support groups revolving around autism since I have been acquainted with autism 5 years ago.
Wonderful, thank you. And we thought it would be a great idea to talk to you today because you have this special knowledge about, the struggle and also how to overcome it, but also because you have like a special niche of interest where you also do advocacy on behalf of all of us, for which we thank you. Can you tell me a little bit about the specific type of events that you're organizing in England? We heard something about a picnic. Also in Holland, we get the word from Autistic Pride Day from the UK. Can you tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, so when I was introduced into some of the autism advocacy groups, I became acquainted and networked with other autistic people in the UK and some over in America as well, and where I heard about Autistic Pride, which started in over 10 years ago, about 15 years ago, on a site called Aspies for Freedom, I think it was called. So way before my time, way before I even knew about autism, well, truly understood autism. I mean, I heard of the word autism, but I never really understood what I meant because it's way before my diagnosis. And every year there's been an Autistic Pride event in London every summer, and this was always in the summer. And I attended one of these events, and I met one of the organisers who has been, for the last number of years, who has been organising the main Pride event in London. And from there, he got together with some other autistic advocates to encourage and to inspire people to have their own Pride events in their local communities. And it really really started to take off from about 2015, where more and more of these Pride events and picnics happened in the UK. So not only have we got London, we also have Autistic Pride Reading. It's been organised by a couple down in their community in Reading. One of the organisers is Rachel Cotton. We also have Autistic Pride Manchester. We also have, a couple of years ago, Autistic Pride Chester, who was organised by somebody who many of your followers may know, Agnialti. And then
one of our favorites.
Yeah, so a lot of people know Agnialti. She is a great advocate. She has been a great speaker as well. And in the last 2 or 3 years, it has started to go more global. So we've had a few more in America. We've had an Autistic Pride event in Paris for the first time last year as well, which was organised by the French autistic group, CLE, I think they're called. One of the lead organisers is Louis Bruninel. Some of you may know him as well. And
a very well-known person in the community.
Yeah, he is a very well-known person. And it's really taken from there. So it started on one website Aspies for Freedom back in 2005. It was not called Autistic Pride then. And then just over the years, you know, over the past decade, it's just evolved into this Autistic Pride. And the organizer for London has been organizing it for the last 6 years now, Joseph Redfords, and he's going to be doing something, a very, very small event this year, but it's not advertised. That it will be something that will be advertised later online after it's happened, but we are technically still in lockdown. Even though that we are starting to ease a little bit, we still have to maintain social distancing. So there hasn't really been any events this year because of the pandemic, but we are doing something online, which will be around the time of Autistic Pride Day, similar to what you're doing over in the Netherlands, but also we're doing something here in the UK as well for that weekend as well.
Well, it's great to hear. And also when we started the Neurodiversity Pride Day, we first contacted the Aspies for Freedom initiative because it is inspired upon the Autistic Pride Days. But we have their blessing, so to say, to organize this day in this particular way that we organize it here in Holland. And we've chosen to not just include the autistic brothers and sisters, but to include the whole neurodivergent family to celebrate together on this day, because, well, that felt like the neuro-inclusivity we choose for. And we had many things organized also for this year, but due to Corona, some of the, well, fun things couldn't pass through, like a neuro dance and other cool things. That makes us also curious, what type of things are organized in the UK? Is it like walks? Is it picnics? Is it demonstrations? What kind of things do you guys do over there to celebrate your pride?
I think the best thing about if you want to start something in your community is to get the local people in your community together and decide together what you want to do, because there may be special interest or there may be traditions from your community which you can incorporate. So one example of an Autistic Pride event in somewhere in Ireland called Galway, some of you may have heard the area, they had their own march. When I organised the first Autistic Pride event in my community down in Eastbourne on the south coast of England, we started together to do a picnic because Eastbourne is famed for its sunshine, and we were very, very blessed. On the very first one, it was perfect picturesque blue sky on Eastbourne. If you drove 30 miles to the east to the next town, it was all grey and horrible and overcast, which we were really, really quite lucky, and a lot of people got sunburnt as well. But it was a great day, and we started our event with just a picnic because we have a great park. We're right on the sea. It's famed for its sunshine, the town. I mean, we originally wanted to do it on the beach as well, but then we realised that the beach has its own accessibility issues as well, because we want to make it completely accessible to everybody in a neurodivergent community, and not everybody is able to freely walk up, maybe able to walk up steps or onto a beach. So that's why we decided to do it in a park, because it's more accessible for everybody to attend. And yeah, so we did our picnic, but there are other people who've done a march, like the one that I've mentioned in Autistic Pride Galway and Autistic Pride Reading. They do Autistic Pride Reading is one of the biggest ones now in the UK, where they have a lot of stall holders that come to support as well, to advertise their merchandise and to support the Autistic Pride Reading community and organisation. So it's really about getting together in your local community and bringing what traditions, you know, if that may come from your community, and about adapting it. Because you want to be unique, you know, you don't want to be copying everybody. You want to be bringing what you can to an idea, and because that's what's going to bring more people to your community, and also from outside your community. And when you get more people in, then you can have more things, and you because you're bringing more fundraising, and then you will then you can get bigger, and then you can get bigger performers or more well-known performers, and then it snowballs.
Well, thank you. And those do sound like a lot of fun. And I consider it inspiring to connect the idea to your local culture, as in the sunshine element that you mentioned. And it makes me wonder of the many different subcultural things we can add in here in the regions of Holland. I think many neurodivergents are watching now, and they'll be asking, perhaps they'll be asking this question like, hey, this Pride Day is today, but the next Pride Day is in a year. And perhaps some of them will consider themselves to be future organizer of something awesome or something cool or something, you know, small and charming. So therefore I have this question. What was it for you that made you step up instead of just being a participant, also being a person who actively organizes events for this? What made this change for you?
I just got together with a few other people, and we just set up a group for our local town, our own local website page on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, whatever works for you, you know, whatever, you know. So for me, I could do a website, but some other people, they may just want to do it on Instagram. So do what you're comfortable with, and then you share that, you know, in your group, in your community, and then you can just update them, you know, when you want to do something. So for my town in Eastbourne, we already had a group. It started as a support group where autistic people, or years ago when it started, when there was the Asperger's support group here in Eastbourne, that it was just autistic people and people who identified Asperger's back then coming to seek support and to basically just listen and to share their day, and if they had any issues that they can get some help. Then it as the years went on, we got more together and we started to support each other, and then we started to get out into community, meeting up ourselves, and we start working together. And yeah, we just we came together and we used our skills by setting up the website, by setting up a Facebook page, and that really got the name of our community out, that we got a autistic network here in Eastbourne, and we got more and more people coming, and we got new people on the spectrum of all ages. You know, new adults who are just maturing, you know, who are just turning 18, but we also got new adults who have been in their 50s or 60s, who've only just been diagnosed, which still happens here, it still happens in other countries as well. And the internet is a great place for that as well. If you can do a website, great. If you can't do a website, just stick to what you know. You know, you may just want to do a Facebook group. If you don't want to do a Facebook group, you can do an Instagram. It's just doing what you're comfortable with, and then you get more people, and then you sharing your skills together. And yeah, we
What you're comfortable with and try something unique.
Yeah.
I think those are very good advices.
Yeah.
And in the last part of our talk, I will come back to this, and I will ask you the question if you have advice for the upcoming advocacy and activists in this area that are considering to organize something just like yourself or just like the other brothers in England over there.
Well, my advice would be really to, you know, get together. You know, the internet and social media is a great place, because before, let's say 2015, 2014, which is around the time when I was just starting to hear about autism myself, before then there wasn't really that much, because Um, even though that in some places people were getting more and more connected, there wasn't as much advocacy around, especially in the autism community as well, but in other minority groups as well. Um, and communication for us is one of our challenges. Um, but the internet and social media has actually made it easier for autistic people to come together and to meet other like-minded people as well. So it's offered a gateway. So that's how I've connected with a lot of other autistic advocates and neurodivergent individuals. Um, but it comes with its own challenges as well, because and neurodivergent and autistic people are immune to this as well. You can also, if you put all your time into just the internet or social media, it can cause misunderstandings and confusions can come about as well. So it is about being mindful as well, because when you when you are immersing yourself with a lot of different people in your country and maybe even globally as well, in other countries as well, and you want to get involved with other people as well, there's only so much time in your day, in your working day. Some of you may have jobs as well, so you may even have even less time. There's only so much time in your day that you can be being able to commit to. So it is about to be mindful what you can sign yourself up to, but not committing to too much. Because if you commit to yourself to something that you know that you cannot do, then that may cause problems later on down the line, that somebody else, another autistic or neurodivergent individual, thought you was going to do something, and then you haven't done it because you have just either hadn't had no time, or you have just forgot because you've just had too much going on. So it's about being mindful of how much that we can do, and there is only so much that anybody can do. Especially autistic and neurodivergent individuals as well. We have to be really organised, and we have to be really um, tough on ourselves to, well, not tough, but we have to be really disciplined for ourselves, so we don't stress ourselves out, we don't overburden ourselves. Because I've seen it many times in other minorities and also in the autistic communities as well, worldwide, where I've seen neurodivergent individuals fall out with another neurodivergent individual because of something very small, but to a neurodivergent autistic individual, even a small thing can be a big problem. So it's about being wary of that.
I have that in my own life as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so you get it as well. And we've had that, I've had that when I was at school, when I was little as well, growing up as well. So it's about, it's about being mindful, it's about getting a balance right. And yeah, so that'd be my advice really, is just to only sign up to what you know that you can do. Try not to sign up to too much, because you do not want to burn yourself out. It is really important to keep disciplined and to know what you can do, and also to understand what other people can do, so you don't tread on each other's toes, feet. Because nobody wants because nobody wants to fall out or or upset other people, because we don't want it's a horrible feeling, if you were to upset somebody and then all of a sudden over something, because over a spilt cup of coffee or a project that wasn't completed on time, that transcended into something else. I try and avoid drama. Sometimes it can be very hard though online, because if you are in a group with another group of people, whether there's a dozen or whether there's 100 or whether there's 1,000, you will see disputes, but you can only see what the other person or the other people have typed. it may not actually be the exact way that that is come across, because you do not get the full context. So if somebody's typed something, it's out there, it's out there forever. Whether you delete it or not, somebody could screenshot it, or it can be indexed. It's, you know, if you publish something online, it's out there. That's what we all have to remember. You know, anywhere that you publish, whether it's an email, whether it's a Facebook post, or whether it is a tweet, or whether it was on a website, once you've put something, when you put yourself out there, and it's there and it's for everybody to see, it's out there. So if there's something that is not 100% clear, be mindful that another person on the other side of the screen may not get the full context of that as well. So I try and balance it out with like real life networking as well. Even though that social media and the internet is wonderful, you know, bringing us all together as well, it is really important to remember that it's actually, it can be a bit, or it can be a bit of a problem as well, because communication is hard, whether it's in real life or whether it's on the internet as well. And communication is something I and a lot of neurodivergent people struggle with.
Yes. And to summarize, so you can start small, find your local group, so to say, see if there's something you can organize that is something unique to you that you would also like to do. But be vigilant first for not taking more hay on your pitchfork than you can handle. So start with small steps and then build that up instead of wanting to build the biggest thing ever. And yes, that is good advice. And the other advice to be vigilant of is when we talk in social media, especially in social media, and also sometimes when we're in bigger groups, we have strong opinions, most of us. So try to understand the other, and try also to see what the other person is not saying or hasn't typed. That would make the message that the person is sending a lot less offensive. Try to be compassionate and understanding towards the other one first, as you hope the other ones will be to you as well.
Yeah.
I like that advice. Thank you, Adrie. All right. Well, as I said before, you have a lot of expertise in advocacy. You are well connected in many different groups. You also set up your own Facebook group, Autists, which is growing rapidly. Which means that you might have, you know, you get more words from others about how they're feeling, how their life is going on, how things are changing in society. And each year we try to make a little snapshot of what is going on. And you are one of our, let's say, informers on what the state of being is for neurodiverse individuals in 2020. Can you share us something with your insights about how people like us are doing, what is going on, what is changing?
I think more neurodivergent advocates are starting to um, advocate with more companies and charities about educating autism from an autistic-led or an autistic person's perspective as well. And I think that is really, really important, that we do get more or neurodivergent, more autistic advocates, individuals, to be advising our health trusts, health workers, emergency services as well, how they communicate and interact with autistic and neurodivergent people in everyday walks of life. And I think it's important that we encourage each other, we encourage autistic people, we encourage neurodivergent people, you know, in our communities to brain block. I do this again. So I think it's really important that we do encourage each other to sorry.
You don't have to say sorry. We're still curious about the answer, though.
I know you are curious. It's just my brain. It is just. I do this, you know.
Don't worry about it.
It's fine. I feel like I just want to stim, you know. It's just like, yeah, just try and get it out, you know. And then all of a
It's all
sudden,
okay.
yeah,
Hey, this
yeah,
is our channel.
yeah. So I channel, you know, just you know, that's good, you know, stimming is good, you know, because sometimes, you know, it just lets it get out, you know, free our mind. But
Wait, before
yeah,
you continue, what is your favorite stim? I do the thing with my eyes that I do this a lot. And I also do things with my hands.
uh,
What are your
hey,
favorite ways to stim?
it's something that I didn't really knew that, you know, because I didn't really understand stimming, you know. But when I actually think back retrospectively, one of the things that I did a lot that I wasn't aware of was that I quite often repeated conversations that I've said, like, like, like that I've had previously in days. So I've had a previous conversation or I've had a job interview with somebody. I would be repeating and perfecting that job interview that happened early in the day, whether it be driving a car, whether it be trying to sleep. I will be repeating the questions that were said, that were asked of me, and the answers that I said, or the answers that I wanted to give but I couldn't in the time. Tonight when I'm trying to go to bed as well, I will probably be having a conversation in my head where I will be answering one of your questions that Tia, how do you pronounce your name? Tiak.
Yes.
Yeah, Tiak. I will probably be trying to get to sleep, you know, and then I have my brain will be wide awake, and then I'll be said, that will be, you know,
I should have said this.
yeah, I should have said that. Oh, why did I say it like that? You know, and then I start, you know, yeah. That is just, I think there's a term for that where you repeat your phrases, you know, or you repeat your first certain
Echolalia.
word. Yeah, that's what I think I've got quite a lot. And I do that quite a lot in my head, but I do it quite aloud as well. And it can be quite, well, not alarming, but it can be, you know, it can, yeah,
Not
bring other
everybody
people's
do.
attention.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you don't have to be sorry. I thank you for sharing.
Yeah. So where was I? I was talking about
Yes.
encouraging each other,
Yes.
weren't I? Yeah, I
I
was.
still want to know that.
Yeah. So you know, I think it's really important that we encourage each other. So in my local area, for example, in my local police force, which is Sussex and Surrey Police, they have um, a disability group where members of the local community, with local businesses of the area of Sussex, and the public as well, can advise the police and also ask and probe questions how the police are doing. Um, for example, how many hate crimes may have been recorded. And if there be no hate crimes of a particular hate crime being recorded, then we can ask, well, either that is really brilliant, there's no crime being
Yeah.
reported that's a hate crime, or it's being logged as something else.
Yes.
And this is really important as well when you want to perfect your data, because if for example, then you want to understand what is happening with an or if there is an autistic person that has reported a crime but it's not been recorded, why is that? You know, you know. Normally, when you make a report, you know, it all gets logged and everything, and whether there is action taken or whether there is no action taken or whether it's just, you know, just there to sit, it will just sit there, you know, even if there's no action taken. But if there is no nothing recorded, then we want to find out why is that, you know. So it is about perfecting the data, you know, and but we can only really do that in our local communities. We can't do that across the whole country or across the whole of the Netherlands or the whole of the UK or the whole of America. We can only do it in our local authority our local province, and it is getting onto our councils, and or to not becoming a councillor, but basically, if you are living in a certain province or council, then you have a right to understand what your elected representatives are doing. And it is about just getting to know who your local representatives are. And
So,
I think we should encourage each other neurodivergent individuals, to get to know your representatives.
so uh, an important message from Adrie is encourage yourself and your brethren to, to get involved, to learn how it works, to find these things out. And if you have questions, it's your right to know these things, and also often to participate in the conversation about how things can be better. And it could be that things that you see may lead to things actually getting better. And if we look at the political spectrum, we still don't have a lot of neurodivergent representative in parliament. I ran for office myself. I didn't get the seat, so I'm not there. And we are still in Holland hoping for a representative that will support the neurodivergent groups, the autistics, the ADHD, the Tourette's, the dyslexias, etc. And if you are watching this, and if you're a Dutch politician, you can take this as an invitation. Yes.
I just want to say that I do love the Dutch political system. I wish that we had a similar system here in the UK, because we still got first past the post. And I do love the Dutch system, how it works. I think it is a better system. I think it's a fairer way of doing it as well, because the way that our system here in the UK, we just have two parties, but not everybody votes for two parties. But we could talk about different systems as well, or different, different voting systems as well. But we can only work with what we've got in our country. So whether it is a system like in America, or whether there's a system like here in the UK or in the Netherlands, we can only work with what we've got. And it's just about getting to know your local people. And it is important that we do get more neurodivergent and autistic representatives representing us as well. We've got a couple here in the UK. There is a neurodivergent politician who is a member of parliament somewhere down in Nottingham. I can't remember the name of her seat. I think it's Nadine or Nadia. Sorry, Nadia Whittam. I think. Yeah, Nadia Whittam. I can send details later on if anybody was interested. So yeah, I think it's really important that we do get more new tips. And yeah, I would encourage anybody who's interested. For me personally, I try and work with anybody, because no matter what party is running, if the party that comes into power that you do not vote for, you still need to work with them. So that I try and be a little bit neutral. It doesn't really matter whether you have a conservative government or whether you have a progressive government. Whoever comes in, you need to work with them.
Well, now that we're talking about your work,
Yeah.
you have a job at the Sussex Police Office, which also means that, well, I would say that is a pretty big success in life as a whole. Which also meant that earlier you were talking about the struggles that you were having, that it wasn't that easy to get to this shiny hill. It took you some struggling, so to say, and also some growing in a way. So in what ways are neurodivergent individuals in the UK, but also at large, more challenged in tackling adversity?
I think one of our main skills as an autistic neurodivergent individual, I was about to say artist then, but artist as well, is, because we're all neurodivergent, is we're very good at analysing, sometimes over-analysing too much, but analysing something that we've done or something that has happened is good, it's healthy. The question is, whether we learn from it. If we are analysing something and then we don't learn and we make the same mistakes, that's not good. But if you analyse and you personally reflect on what somebody else has said to you, and you're analysing, you know, what the other person is saying and what they actually mean, and if you got it spot on first time, great. If you didn't and you analysed that, then you think about, and then obviously then you can learn from that. So next time when somebody speaks to you or says something similar, then you have more tools, you have more knowledge to respond in a much more healthier and proactive and better way. I'm a personal believer in personal reflection. I am constantly personally reflecting on myself, because I feel like that every day is an opportunity to learn, and I'm always constantly striving to improve myself, not just learning new skills, you know, for work, um, or new skills to develop my website, or designing to become a better artist or become a better programmer, but also to personally reflect on my skills to communicate better. And we were human, you know. We do make mistakes, you know. None of us are perfect, and that's okay. Um, the good thing is that we learn from our mistakes. If we don't learn from our mistakes, then that's not good, because you'll just be making the same mistakes again. And the worst case scenarios are, if you keep making the same mistakes again, you will be upsetting people, you'll be losing jobs, getting sacked from jobs, or going for opportunities or jobs that are not healthy for you. Or so some of the jobs that I used to do that were not right for me, that were not healthy for me, were sales agents in contact center, in call center offices. Very, very high pressurized environments.
Yes.
I've done that for 2 years for many different companies, and it led to me basically having a breakdown, because I just couldn't keep up. And I learned from that, you know, after 2 years of doing that kind of work for many different companies, I then realized that this is something that is not good for me. That is just something that I'll never be good at. So I stepped away from that, and I took time to learn more about myself. And I am quite a methodical individual learner, focused, rather than, well, communication, because communication is very, very hard.
But you mean you also study by yourself? You don't necessarily need like a college or like a classroom to start learning a new skill. Do I understand that correctly?
um, well, I think we can all I think we can all personally reflect by ourselves, you know, and sometimes we can talk to other, you know, other people that we trust, you know, whether we have a spouse or whether we have a parent or whether we have a sibling, that we really, really trust, you know, or some people may even have their own pets who they talk to as well, you know, which help them as well. You know, personal reflection is really in ourselves. Uh, you know, I'm a big believer in personal reflection, you know. Um, you know, it's just basically studying, you know, analysing like behaviours in yourself, but and other people as well, and understanding what you cannot control. Now, what you cannot control is you cannot change another person. It's not possible. You can talk to somebody and said, "Hey, what you said to that person was not on." You know, you know. But if they don't take that on board after you've told them, you can maybe remind them, you know, in a slightly different way, whether it is a little bit more sincere, whether it's a little bit more firmer. But if that person just doesn't want to learn or doesn't want to listen to you, you cannot change that. But you can change yourself. That's one thing that I've learned. And so that's why, you know, when we analyze things that we've done in the past or other people have done in the past, and conversations we had in the past, I think that's really important. You know, some people may need a support worker though, or like a life coach, or like a really close guardian to help them with that. I personally can do a lot of this by myself. And since I've done that, since I've like taken more time to work on myself, I feel like that I am becoming a better person at learning new, life skills, I would say. But yeah, if there's this particular thing that you want to become, if you want to become a vet, or if you want to become a doctor, or if you want to become a nurse, or if you want to become a programmer, or if you want to become a software engineer, then yes, you can go. You can do a course. I'd recommend you doing a course as well. Some people can probably just learn off themselves as well. You can do whatever is right for you. I know people who have done both. I know people who have left school at 16 and just gone straight into work. I know people who have done 8 years of higher education and they've left university with a master's degree at 24, and then they started working. I don't think neither are wrong. I respect people who left school at 16 and started working straight away. The same as the ones who still carried on doing studying. It's just doing what's right for you.
So to recap, the core of everything would be self-introspection and self-reflection. And there's a couple of things important to take that on board. One, it's always good to learn. So if there's a mistake, it's more of an opportunity to learn something new. Two, it is very okay to learn new skills and to master yourself in doing different things. And they don't always have to be your extreme personal interests. They can also be things that you can use on a practical basis in life, so to say, thereby making you stronger. It is okay to ask for help, whether this is simply you petting your cat or talking to your mother or a friend. These resources are out there, and find your own way to learn this new skill, whether it's by yourself, behind the desktop, or whether it's in a course, whether it is in a support group. But find a way to overcome the difficulty by learning something new and using introspection to understand how you feel about it. And also how you feel about it beyond just your emotional states. Yeah, thank you for that advice, Adrie. And our next question is, well, you already were talking about different jobs and how they could help you grow in a way. And also that there are jobs which, well, in your personal case, were very detrimental to yourself. So there might be people watching from at home thinking, hey, an advocate doing advocacy, doing activism, that would be great. Being a community builder, that would be great. But perhaps it is something I cannot do, or something I cannot learn, or other reasons to be doubtful about it. Can you share us a little bit about in what ways people grow when they do this type of work that you do? Yes.
So to be other advocates in the autism community, or to meet other neurodivergents as well who want to learn about the autistic community as well, to join groups. If you don't want to, become a leader, but you want to not hear what's happening in the autistic community, you can still join these groups and to hear about what other people are doing. And if there's something happening near you and you want to get involved, then do it. you don't have to be running something straight away or leading something straight away. You know, not, you know, I don't advise anybody to run before they can walk, you know. So yeah, just if you hear about something, you know, that's near you, um and you want to get involved, just, you know, join that group, whether it's on Facebook or whether it's a small community in your local area, in your local town. And yeah, just find out what other people are doing in your community.
Thank you. I had a wonderful conversation with you, and I thank you for your time and your wisdom. At the
You're
end
welcome.
of this conversation, we also give a little bit of space to the speaker to promote or to share something that that person considers important or awesome or worth noting to all neurodivergents in the Netherlands. Is there also a cool project that you might be doing, Adrie?
So I have, well, you mentioned it a little bit earlier on, when you asked me about, you know, what I was doing, and I have set up this global group called Autists, Autists AU, on Facebook and Twitter, and we are writing and developing a website as we speak, which will be launching soon. So watch this space when the website gets launched. But yeah, just on Facebook and on Twitter, if you just search Autists AU, you'll be able to find the page. And there are autistic advocates and autistic people from all over the world, from as many as 60, 70 different countries. So not just in Europe, but also down in South America, Australia, Southeast Asia, and also in Africa and the Middle East as well. And which I think is really important, because different areas of the world and different countries will have different levels of challenges in terms of autism, and some of that will, you know, some of that will be language challenges as well. So I haven't got anything printed off, but yeah, so Autists UK, and I know whether I can really show it. So
We will share
yeah,
the link.
yeah,
Yes, we will.
yeah. You're going to put it on the screen, aren't you? There you are, on the screen. There, brilliant.
I put it on screen in invisible ink, but we will also
Yeah.
share the link with the post.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing at the moment. I'm spending a lot of time building this website and this community. So yeah, just get involved there, and it's, yeah, all global activists and well, just autistic people as well. And yeah, it's a community to just hear about what's happening in the world, around the world.
And it's also very nice to see that your advice for the neurodivergents is, hey, first find your local group and find your friends, so to say, and to see that you've been doing that and now you're making a global group of friends in a way.
Yeah.
So thank you for your hard work. Thank you for your advocacy and your time today. And we really appreciate that you are joining us today on Neurodiversity Pride Day, and hope to share many days like this with you in the future.
Yeah.
Thank you, Adrie.
Happy Autistic Pride Day, and thank you.
Ciao.